Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a special webinar hosted by Forest Consulting Services in affiliation with the WSIB and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. Today, we are here to learn about how municipalities in Ontario can get back double the rebates on their WSIB premiums. Before we begin, I would like to mention that we are recording this meeting to be shared across various online platforms, and we'll be sharing the recording with you as well for reference in future. I would request you all to take a couple of minutes of your time to answer a short poll based on health and safety for us to better understand the needs of the audience here today so that we can cater our offerings in a more customizable manner. So if you could just take a couple of seconds to answer the short poll. Thank you. Right, I'll be closing the poll in a couple of seconds. Thank you very much for all your responses, and thank you for being here today. I would like to get right into it and pass on the platform to Sobi Raghunathan, who is the Vice President of Operations, Strategy, and Partnerships here at Forest Consulting, to give her understanding on the program and how it can benefit municipalities in Ontario.
Thank you so much, Shaunak, and all of you who have joined us today. Thank you so much. I'm sure you must have heard enough about the Health and Safety Excellence Program supported by WSIB, the financial incentive that comes with it, and the introduction to the double rebate that WSIB has been informing all their employers. And if you have a Schedule 1 employer, you can definitely tap into it. Vanessa is here from WSIB, so once I'm kind of done with my intro, I'm sure Shaunak will be passing it over to Vanessa to go over the program detail. But before we get into the ACCEPT program, I want each and every one of you who have joined us today, I'm sure you must be having various different responsibilities within the municipalities that you work in. Think about health and safety from the perspective of workplace health and safety due diligence. How can you prove your due diligence in an event if you were to have a serious critical injury to happen in any one of your facilities? Please take a moment and think about the various different scenarios and the type of incidents that can take place at your facilities, at your municipalities. And if that was to happen, can you actually prove due diligence, saying that you have done everything reasonable under the circumstances to protect your employees? This is a very important question because when we talk about health and safety, it's not about having a health and safety manual or having policies and procedures where you actually just have something that you have done. You have provided health and safety training, various different trainings to your employees. But would you be able to prove that you're sustaining and maintaining the program with the various different exposures and levels that you have, and keep the program going and engaging your employees and keep reminding them? That is one area I see in our past experience working with many different sectors, especially in municipalities, depending on the structure and the staffing level that you have and the support that you get. I have heard scenarios where many staff have said, well, we have a health and safety manual and we have provided all the necessary training. Is that enough to prove due diligence? If you were to have act of some sort of a violence or harassment, or somebody slipped and broke their ankle, what can you say that you have done? Have you done a detailed hazard assessment? When was the last time have you actually audited or had a review of your entire health and safety management system? I'm sure being a municipality, you have some level of health and safety program that is implemented and being maintained at some level. But have you actually got an unbiased third-party auditor who understands safety management system to give you what are things that are working, what are some of your top priorities that you really need to focus, and how you are going to manage, what are some opportunities for making improvements? That definitely can help you in a court of law. If something was to happen, you can prove due diligence. The reason why I'm asking all of you to kind of think about this is as we talk about building the safety management system or revamping the safety management system, these are some priorities that you can think about, as well as don't do it just for the sake of, I know many private sector employers say, you know, business has been tough due to pandemic, and coming out of it, any incentive that we can get will be helpful. The incentives are great, but use the incentive to actually build the program or revamp the health and safety management system and make sure there are sustainable tools in place so that ongoing you can revamp the program. The safety excellence program is, it's like starting off a jigsaw puzzle where you start putting the puzzles together to come up with your entire management system. So even though you may have a robust health and safety management system, think about certain areas where you want to revamp or do a gap analysis to see where you want to get started. And this journey can continue for the next several years. The double rebate, what we hear, is only available up until December 31st, but it's a great way to get you started and then become the safest employer in Ontario, which is the SOCI program. So I will be concluding with some of the information about the SOCI program, but with that, I'm going to pass it over to Vanessa because I wanted all of you to kind of come with an open mind, not just about ITSAP, but how do you build your safety management system?
Over to you, Vanessa. I'll
Okay, great. Oh, it says I can't share my screen while you're still sharing. There we go.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Oh, I now lost my share. Give me a second here. Okay, great. Can you see it?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, good morning, everyone. And thank you for taking the time to hear about WSIB's Health and Safety Excellence Program. And thanks to 4S for inviting us to share a little bit about the program before 4S goes into their details. So I'd like to start off with a land acknowledgement. So in the spirit of truth and reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land we inhabit today and on which we operate our offices across Ontario are traditional territories of First Nation and Métis people and the residents of many Inuit people. We recognize the past history, the vibrant spirituality, culture, and stewardship of the land of all Indigenous peoples. We are committed to reconciliation and growing new relationships, partnerships, and understanding to achieve prosperity for all. Thank you. So just like Sobi mentioned, whatever sort of work you do, health and safety should be a priority for your business because you want to make sure, do the due diligence, want to make sure also that your employees and your customer base is safe. So it's not just about complying with legislation, but it also makes good business sense. The work that you do to improve health and safety can reduce injuries, decrease absenteeism, improve productivity and profit, and increase employee and customer satisfaction. So to help us deliver on our mandate to promote health and safety in Ontario workplaces, and not many people know that that is actually part of WSIB's mandate. We're known for our claims, but we also would like to actually help preventing those claims. So this program will help you protect your employees and customers, build a stronger health and safety culture. And Sobi was talking a lot about that too, about building it, not just doing training, not just having the binders on the shelf, but really integrating this into your organization so you have a health and safety culture in your workplace. And of course, you can earn rebates while you do that. So keeping people safe at work is really important to us at the WSIB. Again, we're well trained and equipped to help anyone affected by workplace injury and illness, but we'd rather prefer that you don't get hurt in the first place. So we're going to do what we can to help people avoid work-related injuries and illnesses through the Health and Safety Excellence Program, and do that, as Sobi mentioned, that due diligence. So let me tell you a little bit more about how the Health and Safety Excellence Program works. There's 36 topics in the program across 3 levels that help you build what Sobi was talking about, a robust health and safety management system. And it is aligned with the ministry's accreditation program. And Sobi mentioned SOCI and all the approved accredited bodies there. So when I mention topic, or you see we mentioned topic up there on the screen, I don't mean just a training course, although that might be part of your plan. The program is about planning and implementing health and safety. So we mentioned it's embedded into your everyday work. It's a continuous process. And then once you have done that and shown that's embedded in your workplace, you would actually upload the evidence to show us that you've done that in order to get your rebate. But you won't be doing this alone. So when you enroll in the program, you'll register with a WSIB approved provider, just like 4S, and they'll guide you along the way in the program, giving you the support you need to be successful. And I think Anjani is going to talk a lot about that. So level 1 that you see in the green there is the foundation level. And that's where you have topics that really help you lay the groundwork of a basic health and safety program. So this does include many of the legislative requirements, but also, again, performing your risk assessment and then controlling those hazards in the workplace based on the ones that have the highest risk. So this allows you to go beyond the requirements to uncover the causes of workplace injuries and illnesses, and then helps you take steps to address them. Level 2, which is intermediate, you see that in the turquoise bar there. That's where you start to work on a health and safety management system. So that's where you're really taking what you learned or what you have already in place at the foundation level and integrating that into your health and safety program. That means you're looking into the processes, the operations, and embedding it into the activities of your organization. Level 3, which is the dark blue bar there, which is our advanced level. There's 9 topics available at that level, and that's where you really optimize that system. So you make sure that it's truly working to prevent injury and illness. You're continuously assessing and controlling hazards and ensuring a continual improvement process is in place. So again, not just having those binders sitting on the shelf. So for every topic that you develop and implement in your workplace, you will be eligible for a rebate. When you finish a topic, again, as I mentioned, you'll provide us with a write-up of the work you've done. We'll review that write-up, and once we've confirmed that you've met the topic requirements, you'll be eligible for a rebate. Now, rebate amounts differ for everyone because they're calculated using the amount you paid in WSIB premiums the previous year. So your rebates this year would be based on your premium amounts for 2022, and your rebates next year would be based on the premiums you pay this year, and so on. So just to mention on that, this program, you can do it, you can start wherever you want, and you can keep going action plan, after action plan, year after year. So the equation for working out rebates is, it's not super complicated, but I'm not going to get into the details of it today. But what I will say is we've set a minimum rebate of $1,000 per topic, or up to 100% of your prior year premiums. And as Sobi mentioned, in 2023, we're doubling the rebates for smaller businesses. So you'll get a minimum of $2,000 for every topic you complete by the end of December 2023. So I encourage you to sign up now so you can get your rebate sooner. To join the program, as I mentioned, you'll need to choose a provider to work with, like 4S, and your provider is going to be working with you every step of the way on this Health and Safety Excellence Program journey. They are vetted, so 4S was vetted by the WSIB through a rigorous recruitment process to ensure they can give you the appropriate support needed to build your health and safety program and understand the program requirements in order to be successful. Each provider has their own offerings, and I think Anjane is going to talk about what 4S has to offer you. And we also have a special program right now for smaller businesses going on where, in addition to double the rebates, and when I say a smaller business, that's less than 100 employees. So if you register in the program, we'll give you $1,000 basically towards getting started. So once you work with 4S in selecting those topics, we'll give you $1,000 towards keeping the program going. So what would your double rebate be? So this is an example of an organization that last year paid $20,000 in rebates. They completed 5 topics. So it's either 1.4% or 2% based on something called predictability, but we're looking at a low predictability here. So 2% of 20,000 would normally be $400, but because of the $1,000 is a minimum amount, 5 topics at $1,000 per topic would give you $5,000 back in a regular year. For smaller businesses, that would be doubled to $10,000 plus the $1,000 support. So the total financial support you'd be getting from WSIB is $11,000. So to complement the rebates, you're also going to receive a digital badge. And here's an example on the side of what they look like. There are actually 4 different badges you can earn in the program, starting with the member badge when you first join. But as you move through the program, depending on where you start, you can also get performance badges at the foundation, the intermediate, and advanced level. So the public can also see whether you're a member of Health and Safety Excellence Program by visiting our Safety Check on the WSIB website. Safety Check has a lot of great information on an individual company's health and safety performance, and it also provides provincial statistics if you're interested for sectors and classes to look at. So you see the example here of a municipality that's a Health and Safety Excellence Program member, and their badge is right there beside their name. So speaking of the public, we did a survey in 2021 that reported that 82% of people say they want to check out the health and safety information of a new workplace before starting a new job. So this is really great to promote your reputation by showing your commitment to health and safety by joining the Health and Safety Excellence Program. So it's also exciting to see that based on survey results that members are very satisfied with the Health and Safety Excellence Program. So based on our October 2022 results, that shows that member satisfaction with the program experience overall was 81%, which is a fantastic number. So here, just before I end off, a couple of testimonials that we have from participants in the program. So we have Safe Tree Limited here. The WSIB's Health and Safety Excellence Program helps you develop an internal culture that respects and prioritizes health and safety. We received immeasurable assistance from our program provider that helped us create a safer workplace. And from Longos, the Health and Safety Excellence Program is now part of our day-to-day routines. It has helped us to prevent injuries. Last year was one of the strongest years we've had with the decrease in our injury frequency rates. We've also seen a remarkable improvement in employees' approach and attitudes as we develop through our program and topics. So I'll take any questions before moving on to Anjane.
So Vanessa, one question that typically comes up when we work with municipalities, since we have quite a bit of municipal clients, the 100 employees, it's a full-time headcount that we are talking about. Am I correct in saying that?
That is correct.
I do want to bring that clarity because you may have quite a bit of part-time firefighters, a lot of casual workers, summer students, recreation hub. So there's a lot of part-time people involved in municipal setting. We have had a recent situation where, according to their treasurer, they had about 166 staff. But when we double-checked with WSIB, WSIB records indicated it was almost equivalent to about 60 full-time staff. So they definitely qualify for double rebate.
Yes, absolutely, you're correct. And even if you're hovering around the 99 mark, maybe just a little bit over, yeah, just work with 4S and they'll work with us to figure out whether you're eligible for the program.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And we encourage each and every one of you, post your questions in the chat box so that we can definitely answer those questions back to you. One of the things I want you to also think about, do you have any other way of sustaining your health and safety program in a form of a safety management system platform, e-learning that encompasses inspections, investigation, dashboards, all that? Because that is something that will definitely help you sustain the program going forward. I'm sure Anjane is going to talk about some of those as part of the solution. So with that, we will pass it over to Anjane Akashe, who's the Director of Consulting at Forest Consulting Services, Inc., who oversees about 30 full-time staff who support various different projects like ISO 45001 audits, core audits, safety excellence program. So thank you so much. With that, we'll pass it on to Anjane.
Thank you so much, Sobi. Thank you for setting the context and for the introduction. I hope all of you all can hear me clearly. Vanessa, once again, thank you so much for explaining the program and the wonderful opportunity that all businesses have today. Give me a few minutes to just quickly share my slide deck. I hope all of you all can see my slide deck. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off from Vanessa where Vanessa left off and explain the Forest's way of program delivery. We'll be talking about the WSIB's Health and Excellence Safety Excellence Program, but specifically the Pandemic Recovery Support Initiative, which is the initiative that's presently in vogue till the end of this year, which is going to help businesses earn double rebates. So to start off with our model for program delivery, before I go into our model, I would just want to quickly recap what Vanessa said about the program. Essentially, the way we understand it is, if you can divide it into 6 small steps. The first 2 steps, which include the registration for the program with a provider such as us, and the selection of your 5 topics. Now, this is typically a day's activity where we have a conversation with you on what issues you all are facing at your workplace, what topics would be ideal for you to start off with, what kind of support you all need, how you are organized, etc. But the minute we select these topics and we upload them on the WSIB portal, we as a service provider will approve your action plan, that is the business's action plan. And the minute that happens, you all will have an active action plan. So the minute you have an active action plan, which is almost like within the first week of us getting started, you would have access first and foremost to the health and safety member badge. Here you see the badge for 2022, but you will get access to a similar badge for 2023. And the cool part about this badge is that you can use this badge in all your marketing material. And all this badge says is that it doesn't say that you have completed all foundation level or all intermediate or advanced topics. At this stage, you have become a member of the Health and Safety Excellence Program. So which means that you are actively working towards laying the foundations and building your health and safety program. In addition to this badge, WSIB is right away going to give you a $1,000 rebate. It's almost like just showing up to the party, and this is what you're going to get for registering your action plan. And this comes with no strings attached. So it is not something where you have the fear of, hey, is WSIB going to ask for this money back or something like that? It's literally for being for taking the time and effort to register an action plan and for making the effort to then sustain it through the next few phases. So once this action plan is registered, what we then do is help or work with you to develop and implement the 5 topics that you have selected. We help you with implementation coaching, and I will cover that in a subsequent slide. Once we have implemented the topics, we gather the evidence and make a submission to the WSIB. Once the WSIB vets your submission and approves it, you will earn a rebate, which is up to 10% of your previous year's premium, or based on the calculation that Vanessa just showed. If we were to select 5 topics for most municipalities and let's say complete them by June of this year, you would be walking away with a rebate of close to about $11,000. Now, typically, this is the figure that's applicable if your WSIB premiums were between the range of $5,000 to $50,000. And I think most businesses do fall within that bucket. So the typical rebate for completing 5 topics would be about $11,000. Now, because this program is in effect till the end of this year, businesses could potentially work on another 5 topics and get another $11,000 in rebates. So in all, you're looking at a rebate potential of about $22,000. Now, one of the questions that we get asked often is, yeah, okay, I think we are quite okay with completing 5 topics by the mid of this year. What happens if we select 5 topics, but we cannot submit all 5 by December? At that point, you can submit the topics that you have completed. So let's say you have completed 3. So for the 3 topics that you would have submitted, you would get $6,000 of rebate and the $1,000 for signing up, which is about $7,000. So there are multiple options and opportunities for you to dip into this program or dip into the rebate bucket for as many times as possible till the end of this year and make the best of this opportunity that is presently ongoing. So that being said, I just want to now get into what's our model for program delivery. Now, when we thought of coming up with a model, we were very conscious that the people that we are working with, the businesses that we are working with are busy with what they are doing. They may not have the expertise that understands health and safety. And it's typically somebody that's dual hatting it, probably acting as a counselor or a treasurer or an accountant at the municipality, and dual hatting and spending some part of their work week into implementing this program. So the first thing that we wanted to do is develop a program that is easy for you. Because unless it is easy for you, businesses will drop the ball and lose out the opportunity to set the foundation of a health and safety program. More importantly, we also wanted to make it sustainable. Yes, the rebate is a big part of this program, but what we wanted to focus on is developing something that will live over a period of time. And that's not going to just die down the minute you have got your rebate for that particular topic. That being said, our sort of service offering is almost like handholding you from the time you sign up with us till you actually get your rebate and thereafter. So right at the outset, we would like to help you with the topic selection, the registration, and the action plan approval. So that gives us an opportunity to understand your business, understand the functioning, what topics are applicable to you, and then getting together an action plan that's going to be meaningful for both of us. Once that is done, we also offer access on our proprietary software system for the four mandatory training courses in Ontario, which are health and safety awareness, workplace violence and harassment, WMIS 2015, and AOD. So we will provide access to all your employees, or up to 100 employees, on the ForSafeCom platform for these four training courses. These training courses typically all four of them together take between 2 to 2.5 hours. But the really good part about it is that at the end of it, you will get a QR coded certificate for each course for every employee. And once that's done, you have a digital record to prove that all your employees at your municipality have completed their mandatory training. Now, going back to the topics that we had selected, we will provide to you the templates of policies and procedures for the topics that you have selected that align with WSIB requirements. So the health and safety component of this program will be taken care of by us, and your actions would then be limited to actually understanding what we have developed, working with us, and then implementing it at your workplace. So we will provide you with the coaching for implementing these topics, and provide you with a checklist where you can go line item by line item, understand what needs to be implemented, what evidence needs to be gathered. So if we have given you a health and safety policy, your checklist would be get a print of the health and safety policy, get it signed by the mayor or the CEO, visibly post it on your health and safety board, take a photograph, send it as an email attachment to all your employees, take a snapshot of that email, and so on and so forth. So we will take care of the health and safety part, and we will support you with the administrative tasks that you all would then be doing to implement these topics. Once these topics have been implemented, we will provide you with a checklist of what evidence needs to be gathered for each of these topics. And once you all start sending that evidence over to us, we will draft your submission. Now, submission is nothing but a story that tells the WSIB how you all planned the topic, how you all actually implemented the topic, that is the do. What did you all do to ensure the effectiveness of the topic, which is the check, and the act is if you have found any gaps, what are you all doing to bridge it? So we prepare a template of a story in that simple format, and we share that with you so that you all can add your own story to it and make sure that it's customized to what you all have done at the workplace. And once that's done, we will validate your submission. So we will validate your not just the written part of your submission, but also the evidence, make sure that all the ducks are in a row, and then help you with making the submission to the WSIB. Further, if there are any follow-up questions from the WSIB, clarifications, or if we need to coordinate to help you get your rebate, we will actively participate and support you with that process till the time you get your rebate and you're ready to sign up for another cycle. So this is typically our program offering for most businesses, including a lot of municipalities that have presently signed up with us. So in a nutshell, we support you right from the time, from the get-go till the time you have actually received your rebate. Moving on to the choice of topics that you have, and Vanessa did mention that the entire program consists of 36 topics, of which you can choose 5 at a time. So what we have done is we have culled out a list of 8 topics that are foundational. They apply to almost any and every business, and most of them are part of legislation. So we want you to get started with these topics because these are relatively easier to understand. They take possibly a little lesser time to fulfill, and it sort of gets you warmed up before you move on into the next cycle. So the intent is that every time we offer you a topic choice, or every time you sign up for a program, we will offer you about 8 to 9 topics, and you will choose 5 of these topics. When you move forward to the next cycle, again, we will offer you 8 or 9 topics, and you will choose 5 from that bucket of 8 or 9. And that way, you all can chip away at multiple topics or multiple submissions as part of this program. Last but not the least, I want to just very quickly pictorially explain the process from the time we sign the contract to the time you get your rebate. Just in the way WSIB expects your submission, we have also broken it down in the plan, do, check, act model. So, and clearly laid down responsibilities for both sides. That is what we would do, where we would expect your participation under the plan, do, check, and act. Now, the important part about this entire model is, or what I want you all to understand from this slide, are just two things. The first is that there is a method to the madness. There is a way we have established or strengthened this process to make sure that it is easy for you all to implement, and we are monitoring your progress in sort of a project management approach. The second part is I really want you all to focus on the do part, because the do part is where your actual support is required. Because I can give you a first aid procedure, but I cannot do the first aider training for you. I can give you a health and safety policy, but I cannot sign your first aid policy, nor can I post it on your health and safety board. So those are the parts where we really expect your support and cooperation. Of course, we are available at any point in time to provide you with guidance, and we expect you that you give us a call every so often as you would like and clarify, hey, is this, just double check with us, hey, this is what I'm planning to do for this topic. Am I doing it right? If I collect this as an evidence, would that be okay, or do you require something else? So we have a continuous dialogue along this journey with our clients, and we make sure that they understand these topics well, implement it well, and get their rebate that they rightly deserve. I think with that, I also just want to quickly sum up by saying that we have signed up about 210 odd businesses till date, of which about 50 clients have already completed cycle 1. Most of them have signed up for cycles 2 and 3, and they are in the process of now that they have understood the process in which this program works, they do feel confident that they can complete at least 2 more cycles by the end of this year. So that in a nutshell is what we offer in terms of our program delivery. With that, I've come to the end of my quick presentation. If there are any questions, and I possibly see that there are some in the chat box, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. And if there are any questions that I need to take on, I'll be happy to do that as we go.
Well, thank you so much, Anjane. Those of you who are hearing this for the first time, this program has been around for almost 3 years, and the double rebate got introduced towards the almost closer to the third quarter. I think end of June is when WSIB came up with the double rebate. They said it was going to be only till December of last year. Then they extended for the entire year this year as a pandemic relief support. I encourage each and every one of you to take advantage of this and take this as an opportunity to revamp your program, because I'm sure many municipalities does have a health and safety program. This is one of many reasons why Forest is one of their exclusive health and safety partner for AMO members. We bring various different services and support for the municipal clients, being external auditors for core, lead auditors for ISO. We can help you do a gap analysis, identify opportunities, which is your great due diligence tool, and also work with you while you are participating in the safety excellence program to get you some rebate so that you can keep reinvesting to revamp the health and safety program. Along with that, the ForSafe core management system, which comes with all the necessary e-learning, awareness-based training with over 100 courses, and inspections, investigation, dashboard modules, so that you can sustain and maintain the various different facilities that you oversee with just sitting in your desktop and be able to access. Have they done their JHSE meetings? Where's the meeting minutes? What was the actions? Inspections done at the various different facilities. So these are some of the tools that we can definitely help the various different municipalities. That being said, I know one of the questions that a couple of you have asked is reduction of claims. The new claims rate methodology that WSIB is using, I'm sure Vanessa can jump into support as well, is they're looking at your individual claim history, your number of claims, the lost time days, and the type of injuries. And they are looking at how we are managing your claims management process. So if your claims increase, the chances of your premiums increasing is much higher. If you're managing your claims well, the chances of you reducing your premiums is very, very good. So the way how WSIB have taken, in the past, it used to be pooled. So you used to be pooled with all the other different municipalities, and the rate group for the various different municipalities comes into play. But with, sorry about that, with the current program, you need to pretty much just manage your own program. So you have to manage your program. You need to sustain it, maintain it, so that you can reduce the exposure of hazards, which results in accidents and incidents. And then if you were to have accident or injury, it is actually you're managing the claim and bringing the person back. So they are looking at individual performance. So by participating in programs like this, it is going to definitely put more focus, because I know many municipalities, especially the smaller ones, you may not have a dedicated health and safety resources, which is very, very common. That's why we have carved out some of the solutions that Janine was talking to you about as solutions, because you may wear 3 different hats or 4 different hats, and health and safety is one of them. So you do need quite a bit of hand holding and tools and tips and somebody there kind of guiding you along. With this program, you could start that journey. And as Vanessa mentioned, you could do multiple submissions in a year. So you start with the 5 topics. So most of the municipalities will qualify for 5 topics. That's the maximum number of topics. You start with the 5 topics, create the action plan. It typically takes about 4 to 5 months on average to successfully complete and show those 5 topics are well implemented and you have enough evidence that you can submit to WSIB for validation. So with that, then you could move on to, once those 5 topics are submitted for validation, then you could start with the, once they approve, then you could start with the next action plan of the next 5 topics. What we are telling all of our clients is you still have time. We are right in the beginning of March. If you were to sign up now, the chances of you doing possibly 2 submissions is pretty good. If you were to get started this month, then you start with your first 5 topics, finish, then you start the next 5 topics. So even if you were to give yourself, 4 to 5 months for each of those 5 topics before December 31st, you have a very good chance of tapping into that double rebate. But this is not going to stop. This is going to, the safety excellence program is there with the single rebate or something that WSIB is going to come up with. They did mention by the 2nd quarter, they will inform what other programs that they are going to be working with. It's minimum, you will get single rebate for multiple submissions. So you could plan next year for either 5 topics or 10 topics. The first 6 months of the year, you do a set of another 5 topics, and the following 6 months, you do another 5 topics. So you have actually revamped at least 20 of your majority of your programs. One of the questions that I saw in the chat is hazard assessment. I was so happy to see that question, because when we work with municipal clients, that is one of their biggest opportunities for improvements, because hazard assessments are not done to the level that it needs to. Hazard assessment is the backbone of your health and safety management system. Being an external auditor for CORE and being a lead auditor with over 23 years of experience in the health and safety industry, that is your foundational program. As an auditor, the first thing we do is, when we see the program has a detailed hazard assessment and you have actually done it for across all your facilities and identified all the potential hazards, and it's being reviewed at least periodically, that tells us you have a pretty decent, robust health and safety management system. If you don't have that today, then I know most of you do work with budgets. These are some of the things that you can actually budget for in the coming years, because the hazard assessment will definitely tell you what are your exposures, how we are going to control it. Is there administrative controls, engineering controls, PPE, additional training? Then you could start mapping all that out. That is your foundational step for due diligence. And hazard assessment needs to be revisited when you introduce new process, new equipment, new environment. So these are some of the things that most of our clients, municipal clients, do section by section. They start normally with, so when we start with excellence, we'll start with the foundational topic. As we are moving into the intermediate topics, hazard assessment can go on for a few of the action plans. So you don't need to, because you can't capture everything. So you could say, I'm going to be focusing on this set of hazard assessment, then go on to the next. So those are definitely some of the journey that we can actually sit down and map out for you and create a roadmap in terms of how you want to do that. I would really encourage all of our municipal clients to revisit the hazard assessment. In the past, some of the municipalities, mid-sized municipalities, it took us about, I would say, 2 to 3 years by the time we completed hazard assessment for the entire facility. With my entire municipality with many different facilities, because it is going into the depth, then connecting all the legislative requirements, your policies, procedures, training, PPEs, everything needs to be identified. Then you start upgrading stuff. So I don't want to take this presentation mode away from WSIB itself into safety management systems, but this is a great way for you to get started, start putting the puzzle together so that you could become the safest employer, which is the SOCI accreditation. That should be your final destination. It is applied to actually have the badge as a SOCI accredited organization. And you do get, once you get approved, you will get 3 more years of more rebates. My understanding, based on the calculation I have been exposed to, it's about 20% of your rebates you get back as a SOCI accredited organization over the period of 3 years. So you don't need to re-implement or show any evidence. Once they approve your application, then you actually have to, so your safety management system have to align to either ISO 45001 or core standards. And when you work with somebody like us who have done those processes, all your policies and procedures are going to align for becoming SOCI accredited employers. With that, if you have any other questions or concerns, we are here for the next couple of minutes. We are here to address them, so please let us know.
Thank you so much for that, Sovi. I would like to thank Vanessa and Anjani as well for their detailed presentation on the WSIB program and sharing all that valuable information with us, which we can use to get that double rebate for municipalities all across Ontario. Now, we're going to wait a couple of minutes. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat or the Q&A, and we'd be happy to answer any of them.
Hi, Shaunak. Also, just to let everybody know, I put a couple links in the chat. So one of them is to just understand your rates and what happens, how you can influence them as an individual or as a class, depending on what your predictability is. And it gives you all the details about how we calculate your rates and how you can influence them. And the other one is I also put a link into the understanding the rebate program through SOCI.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, because a lot of people do not understand the opportunity with SOCI. And it was a great pleasure to have you, because it is always very good to have a WSIB representative actually giving the information what WSIB is doing with the program. So we really, really appreciate having you this morning. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me here.
And if you do want Forrest's help, and if you're exploring this program, please put it in the chat that you would like to get more information, so that Shauna can reach out and schedule a one-on-one with Anjane or myself, so that we can support you with your current program or questions or concerns you may have to get this started. Thank you so much, and have a safe